All right, hello and welcome in. I'm David DeGuzman. We're inside the NBC4 Digital Center for this edition of NBC4 Sports Extra. World Cup continues. Of course, we bring in Orri Benatar for the purposes of this conversation. He is our Summer of Soccer contributor. You can catch him on Next Star's Chasing the Cup. Orri, I will give you about 30 seconds to talk about last night's U.S. round of 32 game against Bosnia and Herzegovina, a roller coaster of emotions.
I'm so happy the knockout drought's over, but man, am I just really angry about that red card. It just kind of sullies it a little bit. Never a red in a million years. We'll talk more about that on Chasing the Cup, but Belgium's next. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, the United States has to face some adversity. If they're going to make this run, this historic one in a World Cup, they're really going to have to earn it. Or you and I have been to a World Cup game, coincidentally, both in Atlanta. But the guy we're bringing on in this edition of NBC4 Sports Extra, he has already broken a world record. He is going to a World Cup game every single day of this tournament. We bring in Casey Settleman. Casey, thanks so much for taking the time. You have Central Ohio roots. We'll get to that in a second. But first, I want to get your thoughts. I'm sure you've been keeping up with what the United States has been doing. Your thoughts as to what unfolded on Wednesday night in San Francisco Bay Area against Bosnia and Herzegovina.
Yeah, after such a big game, I feel like giving him only 30 seconds was a little bit unfair. But I agree. The red card was one of the worst decisions I've seen, just based off of how this World Cup specifically has been refereed. I just don't think that's a red card. Generally, though, you have to be super proud of this team. The way they fought when they went down to 10 men. A lot of teams, like Italy, that's how Bosnia got in, folded when they went down to 10 men and lost in World Cup qualifiers. And then also, you love to see Pochettino, the way he's embraced this team and then American culture in general, singing Country Roads at the end of the game. It was just an awesome scene to watch. And yeah, now we'll have to face some more adversity. I still think this team can beat Belgium with or without Balogun. And then you get them back for potentially a Spain quarterfinal. And then who knows what could happen.
Who knows what could happen? This run that the United States is going on has been really impressive, but obviously it's a team that's made it to the round of 16 a bunch of times and has only gone to the quarterfinal once. We'll see if they can make some more history. You're making history, Casey. You're on this incredible run of your own. So correct me if I'm wrong here. Your world record that you just broke, most consecutive days of attending a World Cup match. Am I on the right track?
Correct.
There? Okay.
Yes.
Congratulations, by the way.
It's not the most games because in Qatar, the stadiums were so close together where you could get to multiple games I'm sure there's other host countries that have been like that as well. But because of the expanded format this year, it is the most consecutive days that a game has ever been played before the first break. So usually I think the first break in the old format comes on day 18, I believe, or 19. And now it doesn't come until day 27 in the expanded format. So yeah, most consecutive days going to a game.
Still really impressed. I mean, Orri, have you broken a world record? No, I have not.
I might have the world record for most World Cup games watched in Columbus, Ohio. That's possible because I probably watched every single game.
That's fair.
In the last 20 years, but.
Yeah, you got one up on us, Casey. Let's start here. Where did the concept of this idea come from? Because obviously it's kind of a once in a generation event to have the World Cup here in North America and the United States.
Totally. So I work for Snapback Sports, sports media company, and our thing is going to sporting events, rating, reviewing the experience, making content about it, YouTube videos. So when this was coming around, I'm our soccer guy. I'm usually behind the camera, but I knew with the World Cup coming around, I would be in front of it for this. So what I pitched was a 6-part series rating one country from each continent around the world. And then when I pitched that, my boss, who's also my brother, was like, what do you think about going to a game every single day? Because I thought 6 games in terms of budget was still a pretty big ask. And then he was like, what do you think about a game every single day? And I kind of just laughed it off. I didn't think he was serious. And then he was like, no, I'm dead serious. I've actually already planned it out. It is logistically possible. And I was like, I knew in my head it was going to be a lot, but that's an opportunity that you obviously cannot pass on. Like my dream, when we were hosting, and then 2 years ago, you were like, you get to go to 3 World Cup games. I would have been like, that's the greatest thing I've ever heard. And now I'm going to a game every single day, obviously including quarterfinals, semifinals, final. It's a dream come true, and that's kind of just how it came about.
Yeah, I mean, going to one game for us
I mean,
has been amazing.
one game for me was a dream fulfilled. I got to see the Spain-Cape Verde tie. I bought those tickets in October. The draw randomly happens, and then I went with my wife, brother, and cousin. Got to experience that. David got to see the Congo win over Uzbekistan in Atlanta. I know you went to Atlanta to see Mr. Harry Kane get that brace against DR Congo, which I know you're excited about, Casey, because I've been following you guys for about a year. The one thing I was curious about is the travel. I am not a seasoned traveler, but you're like over-seasoned at this point. What kind of practices and tricks do you have to just stay afloat, taking all these flights, staying at all these hotels, and keeping that energy up over the course of, 5 weeks?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've done my best to try and keep my energy up. The reality is, of when you're traveling every single day, a lot of times I'm on between 3 to 5 hours of sleep. I have watched back some videos, and it was like, you could have given a little more there. But in general, I would say a big savior of mine, since I've gone to some noon kicks and then flown out that night, airport showers have been a big help. Not because it's obviously hot during this World Cup. So I would have been getting on these planes smelling awful, super sweaty. So I've taken, I think 4 or 5 airport showers, which is my first of my career. So that's been a big one. And then I've made it a point to eat well, because usually we go to college football games, and that's traveling for a weekend, but we always go to the famous food spot, which is usually always fried or barbecue or something greasy. And I always feel awful after. I'm like, I need to lay down for an hour. And I was like, I don't have that luxury. So I got to stay light and I got to eat clean. I think that's probably been the biggest one for me.
I love the airport shower, though, because that is so clutch and very underrated. I did that in Tokyo once.
That before.
I highly recommend if you ever are traveling, especially with the amount you're traveling, Casey. Yeah, let's talk about the budget, because your brother put out a video that says you guys went way over budget. And I mean, that has been the headline going into this World Cup, is that this is not a World Cup where you can really save any money. I easily dropped, $1K, and that's like a bargain in this World Cup.
Right.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts as to how much money an average fan is spending for this World Cup? Clearly, you're not the average fan in this case. And how this has kind of been pricing out some of the most diehard fans, and also for your personal experience, how you've been trying to, not blow the budget and trying to, keep this going. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah. I think you see this kind of in American sport as a whole. You saw it with the Knicks in the finals. Like, we just have a problem where the market for tickets has gone way too high, and it does price out the normal fan. And I don't know what the fix for that is necessarily, so I don't have that answer, other than it obviously sucks, because the prices do make it close to impossible if you don't have a ton of money to go to these games. And soccer itself is supposed to be the people's sport. So the fact that this one got so blown out of proportion obviously sucks a ton, especially because you see soccer abroad. Like, people were going to Champions League finals for like 50 or 75 euros because the ticket price gets locked in for these season ticket holders. So yeah, it's obviously pretty brutal what has happened. But I'm unfortunately not really in a position to change that. I don't know what the answer is. I'd love for someone smarter than me to figure it out, but unfortunately, it feels like in America that just is the reality.
Yeah, but also in America, we have fantastic stadiums, and you've been going to a lot of really great stadiums. Going to Mercedes-Benz, which Orri and I were both at. I do think, and you made a video about this, I do think it's one of the better, if not the best, host city for this World Cup. I mean, it's affordable, it's walkable. You've got a metro that takes you around. I mean, what are your thoughts as to, since you've been to a few of these now, where does Atlanta rank since both Orri and I have been there? Maybe what's your top 3 so far?
Yeah, I would say I think you have any stadium that is actually downtown for me is always going to be up there without a doubt. So you throw the MetLifes, the Gillette stadiums, or Boston, New York, New Jersey stadiums out, just because, like you said, there's people in Atlanta who biked from their apartment or their house to the stadium and they have bike check there. You can't do that if you're taking this highway out to the middle of nowhere. So Philadelphia has it downtown. You have Atlanta that has downtown. Vancouver as well, I thought was fantastic. I will give a shout out though to Dallas, who doesn't have it downtown. But when you create so much stuff around the stadium, like they have Texas Live, which is for me the single best pregame spot for these World Cup matches. So as long as you do something like that, like MetLife is in the middle of nowhere and then also has nothing to do around it. So if you're not going to have it downtown, at least build a bunch of stuff that allows people to create a pregame environment, which unfortunately the place hosting the World Cup finals does not.
All they have is American Dream.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew talking to you, Casey, that something was going to come out about MetLife and how much you dislike it, because I've seen that so often from you guys over the past couple of years. I know you're ranking fan bases. You've been experiencing all these different cultures and countries. What are some of the fan bases that have stuck out to you the most thus far in this journey, and some of the most memorable moments, from the ones people know about the most, like the Netherlands and Brazil, to maybe the smaller ones like a Congo or a Cape Verde?
Yeah, I think, well, first, Norway, they're number one in my rankings. They blew me out of the water, not being like this historic powerhouse like you mentioned, a Brazil or a Netherlands, whatever it may be. So Norway was a ton of fun. The Japanese fans, they get so much love on social media for a multitude of reasons. And I was always curious if it was just like it got clicks or it was real. And then getting to spend that time with them was so awesome. And then the Cabo Verde fans, their tiny country, they were just so happy and appreciative to be there. And it was kind of their priorities were, number one, having a fantastic time while they were there. And then number two, hoping to see a good result, which they actually did and got through. So yeah, I would say the Cabo Verde fans were definitely some of my favorite, with just the joy and like, you know, naturally, if you're in England or Brazil, you can take for granted being in the World Cup, as you should. You are going to be there every single time. But for these countries who are there for the first time, they just get to relish this moment, and that's really unique to watch.
Shout out Cabo Verde and Columbus Crew defender Steven Moreira. You are on an interesting streak as well, and maybe not in a good way. As of this recording, you're on a bit of a jinx. You've kind of recognize that to your followers. And I wonder how you've been dealing with that. And I wonder also, have you gotten pleased to just never wear the U.S. national team kit for the rest of this tournament?
Yeah. So the situation is, there is a little, I've gone with it because people have made it a thing and I'm happy to go with it. But there is some context to these situations where I saw Cabo Verde get a draw against Uruguay, which is a great result for them. I saw Algeria get a draw. I was rooting for them, which actually got them through to the knockouts. But yes, I've not seen a win. So hopefully today I put that to rest. I did AI myself into a Bosnia jersey yesterday just to make sure there were no problems going into yesterday. But the situation is I'm supporting Portugal today, and then Argentina tomorrow. And if Portugal loses Croatia and then Argentina loses to Cabo Verde, then I will really start to believe that I am of a higher power and the jersey I wear actually means something.
Yeah.
If I knock out the two goats in back-to-back days, then we officially have a problem.
Casey, what address should I deliver your Belgium kit at? I'm going to order it right now.
Yeah, that's the thing is I'm going to USA Belgium. And I'm like, if I have not gotten a win on my body by then I actually will not absolutely not wear a USA kit.
The Argentina game will certainly be a test of this
Right,
quote unquote
exactly.
jinx. I mean, come on.
I mean, if Cabo Verde beat Argentina, that's probably the best World Cup upset of all time if that actually happens. So
I mean, DR Congo for a while there.
it was close.
Really
Yeah.
close. We weren't sure.
Yeah, I mean, if Cabo Verde knocks off Argentina, then I'm going to start taking like monetary offers for what, because at that point the power has no bounds.
All right. Let's talk about your ties to Central Ohio. You are a Buckeye, proud one, I'm sure. And that also means you've been to the Coliseum that is known as Ohio Stadium, the Horseshoe. Since we're talking about stadiums, what are your fondest memories of being at the Shoe? Where does that rank for you in terms of just overall like sports cathedrals? And maybe how did that experience inspire you to go on this journey that you're on now?
Yeah. God, my best moments. Actually, before I was at Ohio State, I saw it was either 27, whatever it was. I saw Ohio State beat Michigan before I was even a student there. That actually might be my best memory because I never got to see us beat Michigan in person because it was COVID year when they like forfeited, essentially would have been my other game. People aren't going to love this. I think we create a great environment, but not at like the top tier of college football. I've been lucky enough to go to probably some of the best college football experiences that are out there. I think it's partially because I don't think our stands are close enough to the field. Like I went to the Big House. They are right on top of the field. I actually think we're too far away. And I hate to say it, I think we're a little bit spoiled in the sense of we're always good. We expect the most, as we should at all times.
I agree completely.
So I think, and then my worst memory was I went to the Oregon game. That was 2022 or 2021, I believe, when we lost to Oregon. And now that was a lot of negativity. I love the Shoe. I love Ohio State. I just wanted to keep it real.
Okay. Yeah. We want your honest feedback. But that being said, it's funny how you're running into a bunch of, fans who've never been to America and they're saying so much about the stadiums. And like Orri and I talk about this, like this country can literally host like 3, 4, 5 World Cups at the same time.
Like the SEC could host its own World Cup at the same time. It's kind of insane to see. But Casey, have you been to any other sporting events within Columbus? Like, have you caught a Crew game? Have you caught a Jackets game, Clippers, anything like that?
So I've been to a couple Jackets games because they do I think it was at the time, they might have been the worst team in the NHL, but like $5 or $10 student tickets, which was awesome. They bust you down for free and then give you tickets. That was always fun. And then I did actually a U.S. men's national team qualifier at the Crew Stadium, but I've never done a Crew game. But yeah, the Blue Jackets, like I said, downtown in the bar that has essentially 40 beers on draft, like that's a great place to go to a hockey game. Right across the street from Wario's, which is the best sandwich potentially in the world. Yeah, I love the Blue Jackets experience.
And then comparing the college football experience to the World Cup or in general, I mean, you've been to the Olympics, you've been to, all these other different sporting events, NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, et cetera. A lot of American fans think of, Saturdays of college football. I know you guys do your Snapback Saturdays where you're going across campuses all throughout the college football season. It's a very unique experience, but going to all these World Cup games and comparing that to what you see at the Shoe and other college football environments, do you feel like the World Cup, there's nothing like it, or is it on par with the college football?
That's a good question. Like third down on huge plays in the fourth quarter, no moment at the World Cup will create a louder environment, but throughout the entire game, you're getting a much better environment. Also because there's no commercial breaks. There's no, even the time in between first and second down. The environment throughout 90 minutes is way better at a soccer game. And I'm a soccer guy first and foremost, and the chanting and the songs and that for me is just better in general than screaming on third down for a big play and creating a loud environment. Also, I mean, this is obviously extremely different, but I've been so lucky to just talk to so many people across the world, get to have their perspective on so many different things. One thing we're doing is I'm asking for a life lesson or a piece of advice from each country that I support. I'm trying to create this like book of life lessons from around the world and just getting to speak to so many people who have had so many different experiences than myself. Whereas we are inherently different when we go to a college football game, but our experiences when we're there are pretty similar in comparison to when I'm talking to someone from DR Congo.
That is a great way to tie it back into your current trip and kind of maybe delve into this kind of emotional journey we all are on right now, consuming this World Cup. I don't recall another time in history where we've seen the enthusiasm and excitement that has been shared globally by a tournament quite like this, both in this country and around the world. And I feel like the last time we saw something this unifying in this country, probably for me, the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City, that was obviously on home soil, right in the shadow of the attacks on 9/11. So it's been a while since we've had the feels. For you, what has this journey been like to be able to meet people in different countries, come to America, celebrate a lot of what America is about and a lot of the great things that this country has to offer, and get a feel for how other cultures also kind of, operate during soccer matches and how they're able to share their cultures with you as well?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think one of our main things, because we travel so much, we're always just like, get outside and talk to people. I think everyone, and that's just potentially the way the algorithms are set up. And even for me, when I have like super positive takes about the World Cup, or the few times I've said something negative, the negativity just goes off the rails. And like, that's my best performing content, unfortunately. So I think the algorithms, they push negativity and we get caught up maybe in the news and social media pushing the negativity on us, where I've been outside talking to humans and just having the best time ever. Now, I understand this is what soccer does. It's the great unifier. That's what sports does. That's why we love it, because you can ignore some of the real world problems that are going on. But I do think sometimes when we scroll, we do get caught into this vacuum of negativity that you forget how amazing our lives are, how amazing the country we live in is, and how amazing the people around us, for the most part, are. And that has been potentially my favorite thing, is just living real life with real people. And everyone cannot be, everyone is here just to have a good time. We're at the World Cup. You're in America, experiencing all these different cultures. That has been one of my favorite things, without a doubt. Everyone is so happy to talk to you and just have a conversation. And it makes me want to, I think I've helped more people this journey than I have my entire life. Like, people just looking around the airport, where do I go? People looking for where to get a drink, where to get food. And like, this environment just makes me want to be like a more helpful, better person. So it really is really, really nice.
It's also just the fact that, the soccer, you couldn't even be talking to someone and then they'll just instantaneously. I had an Uber driver take me to the airport before I went to my game in Atlanta. I wore my USA jersey. We just beat Paraguay. We talked about soccer the entire journey. That was literally the whole thing.
Totally.
So what's next for you guys at Snapback Sports? Obviously, Casey, you're going to have to sleep for like a month straight after this.
A little mini coma.
Yeah, a little bit. But I'm sure you guys are going to do college football again. But is there anything else that you're looking forward to for the rest of the year in terms of big sporting events to go to?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. I thought I was getting a break, but then I got the message like, hey, I'm not able to get to Big Ten Media Days, which is the week after. That is I think the 22nd to the 24th, and the finals on the 19th. So I'll be going to Big Ten Media Days for college football just 2 or 3 days after this journey ends. But yeah, after that, Jack, my brother, he will be finishing his MLB tour. He's going to his last 6 stadiums of all the MLB stadiums he hasn't been. And then, yes, season 3 of Snapback Saturdays will be our big push for the fall. We're getting close-ish the beauty of college football is there are so many unique and amazing experiences in college football, but we feel we're getting close-ish to hitting all the top tier experiences. So yeah, that's kind of the rest of the schedule after the World Cup.
Boy, no rest for the weary.
Yeah.
By the way, so obviously you're going to the final. Can I ask how much that was for you guys? Was that a big drop in the bucket?
Yeah, the funny thing is we didn't buy, well, Jack actually wouldn't find this funny at all. We didn't buy any tickets because we thought inevitably they were going to go down, and they ended up going up. So that's why we've had this kind of budget issue, because we budgeted out in May, I believe, of what tickets looked like. And then they went up. We thought they were going to go down. So we haven't bought anything. So we don't know what the final is going to end up being. The good thing is the group stage went nuclear, but actually the knockouts, at least the round of 32, has come down a lot. And we're kind of like hitting this leveler period. I think everyone knew when the games were, could take work off, potentially knew what matchup they were getting, and like got their World Cup fix in the group stage. And there were also a lot of fans here who were following their team throughout the group stage. And we're like, oh, I have a day off in Boston. I'll just grab a ticket to the Ecuador match or whatever. So there's a lot of reasons that I think demand for tickets has come down a little bit. So I don't know how much the final is going to end up being. I think it's slightly dependent on who plays, but you know you're going to get an unreal matchup. So I can only imagine that it's going to go up.
I mean, and if the United States makes a run,
Oh my
gosh. We still have a
We
ways
were
to
talking
go.
about how much that ticket would be.
Oh,
my
yeah,
gosh.
that ticket would be not. Well, hopefully Balogun is playing and doesn't get another red card from some
Yeah.
unforeseeable reason.
Gosh. There's still a couple weeks left as we're recording this, but I do want to ask, 5 to 10 years from now, you're going to look back at this amazing experience. What are you going to remember the most? What are you going to take away from this whole thing?
I think it's got to be the people, as we talked about. Like, there's a lot of countries that I experienced their culture just in a small way, talk to the people that I may not visit those countries in my entire life. So just getting a slice of that piece of life, that piece of the world, I think will definitely be the best part. I'm a huge soccer fan, but knock on wood, hopefully I will go to more World Cup games. So I think this experience doing it alone has been like a big growth period for me. Just getting out there, talking to people, experiencing new things. I think that'll probably be for sure my biggest takeaway.
Well said. Well said. Well, we wish you the best of luck, man, and make sure to get as much sleep as you can. Keep eating clean, and yeah, best of wishes on the travel. Safe travels to wherever you're going. It's been fun following your journey, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, he was great, man. I mean, I like I said, I'm exhausted watching him, but he is doing the Lord's work, I'm sure, because I think people don't realize how spread out really this World Cup is. I mean, we see it on a map, but to see him go city to city to city, I mean, he might be, and I know I'm wrong here, but might be doing just as much travel as the FIFA president.
I mean, he doesn't have a private jet like Gianni Infantino has.
But man, wouldn't that be great?
But dude, Gianni Infantino's been in 2 different places at once, so he's coming after Casey's record. But yeah, I mean, they've been doing all kinds of interesting projects with this. I think I want to say, because they have an Excel on their website where they rate their top sports experiences. I don't know if all these World Cup games are coming into that, but I recall their top experience was a Paris Saint-Germain Champions League game against Manchester City. So, you know, Casey being a big soccer guy, but I know some of the other guys at Snapback aren't like huge into soccer. You know, there's just so much proof out there that the soccer is like one of the best sporting experience you can have in the world. But obviously the fact that he's an OSU guy, knows what it's like to be at the shoe for both good days and bad days. Because I know he was at that Michigan game in 24 where they lost.
I think being a Buckeye fan really does prepare you for the career that he's having right now. Because, you know, even though he has some qualms about, you know, going to the shoe and that experience, I think when you're in a fandom like this and when you see Columbus on a game day light up like it does, the whole city, I think that really does give you an insight as to how World Cup cities and host cities are really playing it up. So it's been great to see, and can't wait to see what's next for him and also for Snapback Sports. So we're just lucky to go to one.
I'm happy with my one. I didn't get to see a goal,
Yeah.
and that's fine. But I got to see Cape Verde tie Spain. You got to see Congo beat Uzbekistan.
I did see four more goals in
and
it.
I told you, man. I told you. We said it all. I told you off camera before you bought the tickets. You have Colombia playing Portugal. Everyone's going to watch that game, and everyone's going to want that game to be good.
No, it was
but
great.
Congo, Uzbekistan is going to be there waiting in the wings, be a potential banger, and it was
the
a
only
banger.
better game that day was Algeria, Austria. That was nuts.
That game was insane.
Gosh, I can't wait to do the World Cup wrap-up show. I can wait, but I'm looking forward to doing the wrap-up show once this is all said and done, because we can not only trade stories about what we saw on the field, but then also just experiencing this, because I do think my favorite thing right now has been scrolling through videos, and it's the goals I could actually care less about, but it's been seeing the atmospheres outside the stadiums, the dancing, just the camaraderie between different fans. That really has touched my heart, and I really feel like thanks to guys like Casey, we're able to really get a firsthand look as to what this World Cup has done to this country, and it's incomparable. No other event, and you know how much I love the Olympics, but no other event
is like the World
has
Cup,
done it like this. So.
Speaking of, I figured we should both get our answers in. If we had to do a Casey-like journey for any sporting event, what would you do?
Oh,
like Olympics every day, go to 4 or 5
well,
events
I mean, but the thing is, Matt Barnes kind of literally does that every day when he covers it. So, the answer for me would probably be that. But if you're talking about are you talking about a season long kind of thing?
Season long, tournament long, something that's of the ilk of going to a World Cup game.
But there's nothing comparable, I think, to a World Cup. If I were going to do something that's like a month-long tournament like that, it would probably be the World Cup. I don't think there's you're thinking about other events and championships, because there's other sports that try to do this, but they're not as spread out. Maybe what Euros is probably
is a good
comparable. And I love Europe. I think Euros is probably one that it would be like a World Cup, but on a little. It's like the B tier in terms of going to a tournament. I think you still get that feel. But yeah, I don't know. I want to do the Rugby World Cup at some point.
Which is coming to the U.S. soon, right?
In 2031, we got a lot of work to do to make that sport half as big. It's good. It's been growing, but now soccer is here in the United States. Is so we need to get it to as close to 94 level as possible. I think Rugby World Cup would probably be up there. Even Women's World Cup, Euros, if we're talking about those types of events, a month long kind of thing, I think those are the top 3 off the top of my head.
Here's another idea to throw out. Now, obviously I would do the same thing Casey would be doing for the World Cup if I had the chance to, but take the month of May and go to a different sporting event every day. You go to the Kentucky Derby, then you go to the Miami Grand Prix, then you go to NBA and NHL playoff games, go to MLB games, MLS playoff games with the season changing there. Maybe go to Europe and go to some last Premier League games or, a Champions League final. Yeah. You take a month where there's a whole bunch of
French
different
Open
sports.
somewhere.
French Open somewhere. That's the way. That's another way to kind of do it. Or you take January, go to NFL playoff games and college football playoff games consecutively. There's a lot of fun ideas out there, and just seeing him do it and actually experience it is
there's people that do the summer, go to different ballparks, 30 days, 30 ballparks.
Everybody does that.
I don't do that.
go to Churchill Downs, next day go to Miami for the Grand Prix, and then just go NBA, NHL, MLS, MLB, throw in NFL training camp in there later in the summer. I don't know. Just get everything under your belt.
Sure. We'll talk it out. We'll see if our bosses can approve that. I'm sure it's.
I don't think the budget has enough room.
Yeah, the expense report is not going to be approved for that. Love talking World Cup. We're going to talk more as the tournament continues on in these knockout stages. Orri Benatar, appreciate the time. You can catch him on Chasing the Cup on the NBC4 Columbus streaming app and NBC4i.com. For Orri, I'm David DeGuzman. This has been NBC4 Sports Extra. Until next time, have a good one.
Thanks for watching. For more NBC4, download the NBC4 streaming app. You'll get free 24/7 local programming streamed straight to your living room. Just search NBC4 Columbus on your Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, or Samsung device.